It's been a while since I've made a video, a uh, a long time. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna make another one. It's not for likes, not for shares. It's just sharing what I have in my head. So, um, I just got a Mustang. Love it. I love it more than anything. But there's not a lot of parts. I mean, there's parts for it, but it's like I think there's so many, and at the same time, there's not a lot. So, what I mean by that is like if you go on like Ford specific websites or websites that are made specifically for American cars like Dodge, Ford, Chevy, those race cars, you'll find parts for them, but they are an arm and a leg. The performance parts, they are an arm and a leg. The OEM parts, they're dirt cheap, but when you have something American, you always got to go big, or don't even try. But yeah, I got the car. I'm loving it. Uh, Definitely went over 120 miles an hour, more than I could count. Raced a few people, lost a ton, and it's just a V6. Nothing serious. But it definitely could beat your Honda Civic though. Uh, but because there's not a lot of options, and there's not a lot of well, for me, budget. I decided to start building my Connecticut compliant rifle. And it took me 4 hours to do that shit, because there were some tools that I lacked and everything, and springs and bolts kept flying all over the place, and I gotta retrieve them because they're like so tiny. Um, but it definitely gave me a better respect for those who make and manufacture and sell rifles, ARs, AKs, where so have you. My mom is on her BS again. You know, I do like to help out people. You know, I don't mind it if it's within my power and reason to help. I will. Um, so aside from the Mustang, I also have an Audi, and talking about my mom and my other Audi, it's sort of like right now I was just speaking, sort of making me slightly boiled. But what I'm trying to get at is that my mom brings it upon herself to do things on my behalf when it's not warranted. And my aunt needs a car, and my mom brought it upon herself thinking that she could sell my Audi to my aunt, which I'm not having, because my Audi, living in the state of Connecticut, is a winter car, and I'll be damned if I'll be driving a rear-wheel drive Ford Mustang in the dead of winter with all the snow and all the salt and everything far in between to mess up that ride. So I had a bunch of cars in my life. You know, cars do come, they do go, but you make a connection with the car. And if I'm gonna get rid of any car, I definitely gonna need a replacement for it. You know what I'm saying? If I lived in Florida, Texas, any place where it just like snows, like pretty much like damn near non-existent, then sure, I wouldn't mind selling my Audi. But because the Audi's all-wheel drive, I'm not going to sell it. And my aunt called me a few times saying that my mom said I was going to sell my car. And I told my aunt, I was like, no, I'm not selling my car. I'm not. And she was like, oh, well, you know, how about make payment plans? I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I will not make payment plans. You know, when you're doing business with anyone, with friends, with family, it's really not best for the both of you. Because if you're doing business with friends or family and something doesn't go your way or something goes wrong, that's going to create a little bit of a wedge between you two. So my aunt, my mom, me, you know, we don't have the most lavish jobs. We don't have the best credit score. We're like, oh, well, let me just lease this car and trade it in another day. No, we don't have that luxury. We don't have that luxury to simply put X amount of money down because we got paid the following paycheck where we could afford a down payment for any vehicle that we so choose. We don't have that luxury. So if you're going to make a payment plan with someone, you make it with the dealership. I am not a dealership. You're not going to pay me and then you have to pay this certain bill or that certain bill, or you don't get paid at all from your job, or you get injured. Whatever the case may be, something might happen and then, you know, I don't get my money, and then that's me being upset at my aunt, and then me being double upset at my mother because she brought it upon herself to volunteer me for something, which she always does, which I'm kind of ticked off about, but always volunteering me for something that I have no knowledge of until it actually happens. So, I told my aunt, I told her, I was like, I'm not selling my car to you. You know, if you don't have $4,500 right then and there, you're not getting the car. And no, I'm not taking payment plans. That's just not, you know. So my aunt was like, yeah, well, you know, I know a mechanic, you know, the mechanic could fix the muffler. I'm like, the mechanic could fix the muffler all he wants to. You know, because that's what's wrong with the Audi right now, is it has a little like upper exhaust problem. So my aunt thinks that if I sell her the car, and when she gets the car, she's going to get her friend or whoever she's connected with to fix that said problem. But, you know, telling her I'm not selling it to you. You know, me working at the DMV, you know, there's a buttload of cars that come by. People are trying to get rid of vehicles, they're trying to register new vehicles, or when they're trying to register new vehicles, the DMV dry fucks them with a cactus and freaking pineapple to the point where they just get fed up with having a said vehicle and they want to get rid of it. So I conversate with people, I tell them my situation, and you know, they say, hey, you know, well, if your aunt wants a vehicle, you know, give me $1,000 and it's all hers. I took a picture of a few vehicles that a few customers that came by the DMV were willing to sell, and my aunt was like, oh, well, I don't want that 2003 Ford ZX whatever because it doesn't look nice. And I'm like, listen, this man is willing to give you his 2000 whatever Ford ZX for $1,000 with 80,000 miles. For a used vehicle like that, you will never see that ever. And if you do, it will be a newer car, like maybe less than, you know, 10 years old, and they're more likely going to be nice cars. But an everyday average Honda Civic, Ford, you know, soccer mom beater car that's in good condition, you're not going to find that, you know. And you know, my aunt wants a Mercedes Benz, a BMW, an Audi. You know, she wants a nice car, and it's like it's like women. You know, you, no offense, but you know, you're just a CNA. No disrespect, you're not even a nurse. You don't make that nurse money. You're making slightly above a McDonald's employee money. So if you want an Audi, you're gonna have to save. If you want an Audi, your best bet is to go to a dealership. I am not a dealership, but my aunt is not getting that concept, and I don't know if it's a female thing, a black woman thing. I don't know, or it's just the women in my family. They just are prone to just not listening or paying attention. I don't know. I'm no rocket scientist. I'm not going to try to find out, but it is kind of yeah, I'm just over it, you know what I mean? So if my mom does sell my car without my permission, because anybody could, you know, forge a signature or anything like that, it's really not that hard. But you know, if my mom doesn't respect my wishes, which she tends to, like, sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. I mean, unfortunately, I don't want to do it, but someone has to learn to not take things upon yourself because you think it's okay. And I will take legal action, and you know, do what I gotta do. Really, don't want to, but I will. You know. Yeah. Other than that, you know, I guess we're just caught up to speed. You know what I mean? Been staying home, staying at my own home a lot more. It's been kind of nice. I can sleep on an actual bed without shit being shifted around, and without worrying about falling on the edge of the bed and everything like that. And uh, I could get to work on time. I don't know, just, you know, it just feels good to be home. You know what I mean? Um, I might be moving from to a different home, you know, but even if I do move, it's going to be a lot closer to my job, and it'll be a lot closer to my job at Danbury. And if I move to said place, I also ask for a transfer. So whether I get a transfer to a new place or stay in Danbury, either way, it's going to be a shorter commute. And this new place, you know, I get to have pets, you know, and for the longest time since, you know, since 1997, when I lost my best friend, or when my mother gave my best friend to the police department, which now that I'm older and I realize what the cycle of life and what actually goes on with abandoned pets. My best friend was probably put down at least within a month, and that was my best friend's fate. So I will adopt a new best friend, and we're going to make America happen. Assuming if I move to this new place. More than likely I will, but we'll see. Well, I guess till next time.